Hey guys, welcome back to the Dion Gaming channel. Today, this is going to be pretty much the last video for a while, for 5 or 6 days or so. I'm actually going to be focused on other games as well, and at the same time I want to do something special outside and so on. Plus, I have a real life that I want to take care of. So this is going to be pretty much my last video for now. The first thing, two things we're going to cover in later on is going to be the special deck and a small generation map for Emma. Here we have at least 2 of the winners, and I decided to just give them both the 600 Battle Force point. Hallis won the first 600 Battle Force point, and Ariel won the other 600 Battle Force point. When I do return, if it is 5 or 6 day, I'll accumulate the booster pass and so on and make a specific price. It can be up to 1,000 or 1,300 or so on. The first thing I wanted to actually cover is a special deck for this last video, and that is one of the deck that I saw Wurgel play. I hope I'm spelling that right, or pronouncing it right. And what I did right now is I skipped to the part, and I did not notice that I was already at the third, actually the fourth monument. I thought this for a second was the third, but I wasn't paying it too much attention. I just wanted to hurry up so I could show the mechanics. I didn't do it too much justice, which I then again show what we did during the time that I was testing, if you saw the last video, testing the DC and so on. So I didn't actually pick up the other power wheel, and the reason that is because the guy who actually did it didn't need it too many power wheels, and he didn't need it too many monuments either. There was a specific between 4 to 8 cards mainly, but he could have just boosted the whole thing with a bunch of freaking spells. Hybrid spell. I'm talking about 8 Earthshaker, he had Thunderstorm, I'm pretty sure. Earthshaker, Thunderstorm, Revenge, Equilibrium, Power Growth, all that stuff. So the basic of the mechanics of this deck that he actually have, which technically revolve around 4 cards, is the Infection, the Cultist. The other 2 cards is the Shaman and the Wind Reaver, and that's only to get to the tier 3 monument. After that, he doesn't need it anymore. So what happening is that he goes ahead and uses the ability of the cultists to summon a bunch of beetles, and then he actually used the Infected Tower to transform them into a Twilight kind of like bug creatures. And I think he goes, I think I messed up many times on this video, so just look at the mechanic basically for it, and you'll be able to see how it actually works when I show his part of the video. So basically he makes like a good amount of army, and then he sends them all out with, again, spells and a bunch of support items, support cards to be able to help them. He does use the Altar of Hill, I think is what it's called. This is the altar. Basically, you just feed it life force from the cultist bugs, and then after that, as soon as it hits down, let me tell you, I tested this on the Battle Forge, and it can kill 3 Abomination once it hits down. Of course, it can be target. It has a good amount of HP, and then 2 Abomination takes like about 2 hits each. So 4 hits total to actually destroy it. So in here I'm just showing like some of the things that he basically does, but I didn't use too much spells. And here basically you could have done Earthshaker and all that, and this is where I have to put justice into it because I didn't give it enough justice for this deck. So here's what happens. During the time that I was going into the game, when I was testing the DC, which had 0 DC disconnect from the game, I wanted to try 1 full game to see if I disconnect in the outside, because all I did was use the loading, which again during the previous video, if you watch it, I was getting disconnected every 2 games, and after that, boom, after the update, no more. So what I did over here is, again, I don't know what deck he has, and this time it's Oblivious. One thing that I do know is that if you're in the outer lanes, they hurry you to help them. Now you can't just build 1 and 2 and start building your armies or stuff like that, because if you look at the bottom, he's already getting hit over and over with the camping there. So I have to help him immediately. So even though he didn't ping me for help, by heart I already know that you have to help him, and that's what usually happens. So whether my creatures dies or not, I'm going to be sending my my phoenixes without embalmment during this time, because I don't have time to actually build it until I'm able to get ahead. During this time he already was summoning his 3rd monument, and that's okay. I don't have to summon my I can't summon my 3rd monument because again I was using majority of my cards to clear the area for him. Once he starts using the infected towers, I'm like, wait, is it this for defense or something? Now, this is the reason why I was doing the project of studying all the cards. And later on in the video, you're going to see another reason why, again, I have to study all the cards in here. Now, I use the embalmment, and as I show in my last previous videos for this, Phoenix can clear up anything until I saw the left side. That camp was way too close, and during that time is where I will need my friend's help. So he already has tier 3 monument, but he was not summoning any big creatures, so I was wondering, alright, so long as he doesn't tell me to hurry or anything like that, I'm fine. I want to see what he's doing with this. So then I saw the Cultist Master, and if I actually studied the cards, if I actually studied the tower, I would have known where this was headed. So then I looked over here, and I'm like, yeah, but that's not going to help you defeat them because you're not already ahead of you. Summoned away ahead of time. And when I saw the infection bugs, I'm like, click the tower for like a minute, real quickly, and try to look the information. And then I noticed, holy shit, he's going to summon armies of bugs. That's what he didn't needed the other power well. He doesn't need anything else after that. He's just going to keep summoning bugs and bugs. I got excited over here because here's what happens. Before 2013, when you have an efficient decks, when you play in a game, you have efficient decks, that's all they do. Wheels, incredible modes, spam with ships and stuff like that, and done. Finish the map. That's what majority of the decks are out there. Here we start seeing some of the battalions sometimes here, like one-man army, and then this thing. And to be honest with you, I thought this one is more fun, but it's heavy managing. You have to manage the bugs out there. You have to manage the bug in the back. Later on, he summons the tunnels. And here's the thing about the tunnel. I saw that when he actually creates the infection, you have like, I think, 30 seconds to have 20 to 30 seconds around there to have 30% more damage, which if he sends them through the tunnel during that time, all those bugs have 30%. They can literally clear any tier 4 as a group. So I went with him and tried to support him with my ship's healing, because this one is where I was using the Lost Soul deck. So his bugs won't die so long as I keep using the mechanic of the ships. So later on, I come down here. I use the mechanic again to keep them. Again, if he gets close to the healing wave, he won't have to worry too much about it. So I thought this deck was great, and I believe it is more fun. It's more managing, by the way. It's way more managing. But I think it's more fun for RPVE. Except I'm pretty sure he's going to run to some of the troubles, which is players telling him to hurry up, what the fuck you're doing, or something like that. But just ignore them, block those players, and keep playing the game. And let me tell you something right here, right now. His weakness, he only weakness is air unit, but he has spells. He can just use thunderstorms. He can use, if he built it differently, like 5 monument or something like that, or take the orbs out and such, he could just go right ahead and use cluster explosions. Spam and stuff like that. At one point, you probably saw I did die my ships. It's because he warned me ahead of time. Like he said, it's like I'm gonna summon this, and when I saw it, I didn't know what it does, but I started moving away from it because I thought it was gonna explode, and then it exploded and killed my ships. And that's actually fine because I had so much fun, and I wanted to feature this video for him. So congratulations, Wurgel. You made a specialized deck that I thought it was hell fun, and I will play with you in every match if I had the chance to. Now, this one here is actually something about Emma's map generation with his team, and he did say that someone over there does work really hard, and Emma works really hard in making some of these maps. As you see, it's AMMA in the bottom, and the thing is, I think this is way better than the Forge. And then I asked him, because the thing is, you actually can use all your monsters, stuff like that. Plus, you can summon some of the monsters, so you can test some of the tier 1s versus it to see if there's any tier 1 who has an advantage. And I thought it was pretty cool because I asked him, can I use this in the test launch.eae server? And the reason that I asked him that is because what happens is that I can use all the cards. And if I use all the cards, I could just test every deck. And he said yes. This is actually good generator map. It's better testing than the Forge by 1,000. Also, I asked him a couple questions with it, which is do I'm allowed to use like void manipulation, and he said yes. This real quickly right here is pretty much learning the range of it. Like you can summon a white ranger and stuff like that, and hit far away without technically getting too much hit. Same thing with fire dancing, and I also wanted to test this, and it was really great to test this overall. And the reason I say it's great, and this is the last part for it, is because there's something that players may not know when starting the game. If you run out of cards, even let's say you don't have like 2 charges left, and you run out of card. I give you a better example. Emmy Monument. Let's say you don't have charges, and you summon 1. Then you have to wait a couple bit before you can actually summon it because there's a longer cooldown than something instantly when you have charges. The cooldown that you're learning here by testing these cards in these maps is that the cooldown of a card is actually half. So if, for example, hypothetically speaking, if Emmy Monument costs 100, you'll have to wait 50 seconds. Now, if you have 3 charges, you automatically it'll have its own cooldown, but it'll be way less than 50 seconds. Same thing if you are summoning Wind Reaver. Your summoning Weaver has like 1 second cooldown before you can summon the next Wind Reaver, and the next Wind Reaver, and the next Wind Reaver. But when you run out of Wind Reaver and it costs 70, it's half of that before you can actually go ahead and summon another Wind Reaver. And this is actually probably for testing, imbalancing and stuff like that, because the reason is, for example, let's say as I heard, Magma Hurlo. Let's say if it goes from 3 to 2 orbs and increase the cost to 150 and so on, what happens is that it may be great in some areas of the PvP for it, by taking away his knockback. I don't know about his damage, maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, I'm not sure. But the point is that when you're playing in the map and someone runs out of charges, before for the tier 3 used to cost 100, and once he runs out of charges, he's able to summon it 50, the other 50 seconds. But if he actually saw 150, then that takes a little bit longer because it'll be half of 150. So an example, that's just a little small example. An example is that, you know, it allows you to test all these things. And though even at the moment, I don't see any changes being done and then put on the test server, so we can play on the launcher.exe test server, play PvP, play PvE, and then put it on the real server. I think some generated map like these to put these cards in it to test is actually much better. So if something were to happen, I will use every card that has been nerfed or balanced and go into the forge that Emma made, the community map, and test those cards in there versus different kind of creatures. They can fire power costs and so on. So thank you, Emma. That's Emma and his team for actually generating that type of map. The other map is basically what I showed you, is actually the range of it, how long it takes for your creatures to get hit by a building, or how long, how far a creature can actually shoot before he actually gets hit back. Which again, Fire Dancer would be great to kill those two, and Lance Dancer doesn't have that great of a long range, but it still has seized damage, and I thought that was actually special. All right, let's move on. Me and Emma went to Discord. We got into voice, and we decided to actually play some community map. And I made a clone deck of myself because I didn't want to take cards out in it. He gave me ensnaring root, and basically I upgraded to 3. And after that, I'm going to go ahead and return it back today after this video. That's because he actually gave it to me for free, but I really don't need it, so I want to give it right back when we finish. So in here, basically on this map, told me I needed some flyers, and then I actually realized you only need some flyers. Actually, it does make the mechanic much easier. I have to actually pay 100% attention and follow the direction 100% because I don't know this map. There's no woman talking or anything like that. This is pretty much a generated map, and there's no information. You just find it off to yourself. So I waited. I did look at the top of this map of what he was doing and such, and he will ping me what should I be doing and all that. Now here is where I actually used my ensnaring route, and though my enchantments would have died, it wouldn't matter too much because they would have died anyway. Like I would have killed them later on because they had no use after I went downstairs, and you only literally needed flyers. In the tier 2 area, technically flyer makes the mechanic much easier for the game. The objectives much easier to defeat. So it has a special mechanics that if you actually use the flyer, it's just much easier. If you can still use it with ground melee, it's just a little bit harder. So he actually gave me a heads up warning. I need to actually put up the wall, so I can have. I didn't know how long the wall had to be up or how much I had of defense, but he told me to put up the walls because of those guys who were coming in to try to destroy the monument. And when they die, they deal a lot of damage. Those little toxic thing that they actually spread out after they die. So later on, I looked at him. I see on top that he's moving, so I started moving slowly to see if there's any flyers, or any archers that could kill my mana wing because they're damn weak. So later on, I actually start summoning some of the aggressors and such, and maybe 2 Crystal Fiend, just in case if something bad happens. Again, on top of it, he's handling it, and I'm using the aggressors to try to bounce things off. Now, at this point in time, I actually see that, again, Flyer does help here very much. So I started sending my Flyer and tried to control, send one of my aggressors to do 2 things. One, to control the monument with Matter Mastery, and second, to heal my Mana Wings, because those towers can still kill it off. Now, I did have the Crystal Feed going forward at one point, but again, it's not going to be enough unless I have 3 or 4 Crystal Wind to help these Mana Wings, because they're very, very bad in defensive. There, I also use my aggressor kiting skills, to be able to go ahead and bounce both of them off, so that way I can actually be able to have an easier time. I use Breeding Ground, and this is the part where we start fighting huge tier 4 together. Unawares to Emma that I was gonna use the cheating card Emmy Monument. Now he's summoning his tier 3 and he's fighting hard against these creatures, but pata boom, I used the cheaty Emmy Monument, which, trust me, later on he says that he will make a scripting map where I can't use the Emmy Monument. Oh my god, that's hilarious. I told him, it's like, hey, if it's out there, I'm going to use it until they fucking destroy it, or until they nerf it to the point where I can't destroy it, or until they balance it to a point where it's used in a different kind of way, such as maybe tier 4 and so on. Till then, I am going to be destroying maps with the Monument to make a point. Which is pretty much how easy it is to get to the next area. He summons his tiers 3s out there, and I summon my tier 4. And because I have tier 4, I can go ahead and use Regrowth, Equilibrium, and keep everybody alive. Something I would not have if it wasn't for me to actually using the Emmy Monument. I don't think he's gonna like that I'm actually saying things like this. Is because I don't know if he's an advocate for the Emmy Monument or not, but either way, I thought it was a cheesy way for me to win, and it is what it is. It's a card that is out there, right? Why not use it? So basically, later on, I won't be able to play with him on the next few maps, because again, I am taking a break, like I said, so I won't be able to actually test it without the Emmy Monument. So apologies, MRZ. We won't be able to do more maps for about 6 days. So in here, he starts summoning his creature, and though I could have just went ahead and start using the, what is it called, the furnace when he killed his creature, I didn't needed it. So I didn't put anything when he killed his creature. All I needed to do is start using the ships, and though the ships belong to the lost soul, it belongs to them. The heal is for the lost soul. I am just gonna break it by having Regrowth, ship heals, revenge, Equilibrium. Shoot, I probably should go fire and somehow and see if I can add some earthquake into the deck, right? So basically, I started summoning these one. I had to find out if there's a better one than the armor tower. But however, armor tower only costs about 80, which will cost 60 only, and I only need to summon 2 of them and go right ahead and suck up there for the recycle. Now he goes ahead and starts summoning the construct, and basically, during this time, I let him go in first, because again, construct, though it's slow, it actually makes, I think, large unit bounce as well when they hit. So again, I start using, I didn't need to use like so much regrowth or anything like that. I used it one time during here if I could, but then it got blocked by the spells. So instead I used the ship when I was able to, and defeated the map. Again, I told him I'm going to change my deck. And I'm going to use the Lost Soul deck. But unaware to him that I also have the Emmy Monument. So again, I don't know any shit about this map. He does, so he actually uses a deck specifically for this map. Very defensive deck. So I actually look, every time, if you see me looking on his side, it's because I have to see what is happening and how things are being played. That way I know a little bit of heads up. So when I actually went to go up, I saw that, holy Jesus Christ, we have to get to the sea to defend them, but there's a lot of units here, like a lot of units. I told my units to come back and use home soil and destroy them all. Then I looked at his side a bit to see how he was doing on it, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna watch what he does before I do something. That way I can have it much easier since he knows the map better than I do. So I go to his side of the map, and I saw that he has melee unit, which I don't have, and he actually kites them. He kites the thing a little bit backwards, so I'm like, I'm going to do the same. Fail on that one, but that's because I tried to grab both of them at once. I should have just grabbed one by one, but still succeeded in bringing them to the right side and finishing them off. I do the same thing for the top side, and then bringing them to the right side so I could just finish them off. Again, I can't destroy that one because what happens is I have no melee. This deck is not designed for this map. If I knew it had melee, I would have put a one in there. But what I did is I said, fuck it, I'm just gonna go ahead of them, straight through the towers. They're not that strong. Summon my thing, and then summon construction. Now the thing that I've learned between him and I on his deck and my deck is that it complements each other, and then it doesn't complement each other. See, my construction had complemented his towers, but then I try to summon the launcher so I can get some power. However, he blocked it over, and I didn't want to put it ahead. However, if I did summon the launcher, the furnace, that would have helped. That would have not helped. That would have messed up something that he had. The harvester. I would have been sucking the soul for my furnace instead of harvester. So I didn't put anything out, and instead I kept an watch out of what he is doing, and I said, I'm just gonna grab my power well while I see that you're able to handle this area easily with no help. So I just went ahead and tried to put my Lost Dancer in a way that able to actually hit the tower. So then I looked and I found out that, oh, these towers can't hit air. That's where my tower was complementing him, but he didn't needed it. So I went ahead, summoned some lost launcher, because those can actually have 50% damage in siege. Not better than the fire dancer, but still pretty good enough to actually destroy siege. We head to the right side. He kites some of these monsters so we can finish him off. I cold snap just to make sure that everything is actually like safe. Kill the big monster first and then focus on them. He actually pinpointed me and told me to destroy the camp because they can summon another big one. So I destroyed the camp, and I said to myself, time to use the ability of my Lost Dancer. That's the reason why I didn't focus on those monsters hitting them. I wanted my creatures to die to explode them all after I destroyed the other two. Here he said he hide on the corner, on the bottom right corner, so he doesn't aggro those monsters. But then he said, oh shoot, they're going to attack bottom. So I told him, no worries, I got this, no problem. I summoned one of the most powerful tier 2, which he agrees, Lost Soul Tower. Which basically, why is it so powerful? If you saw my Siege of Hope, you saw that they have rage. So long as they're building up that rage, they actually can kill the T4 creatures. Any tier 4 creatures they can actually kill. Had trouble against Lost Dragon or Skycatcher, but again can still kill majority of the Lost T4 creatures. So he goes ahead, and I could have actually killed the Grinder if I wanted to, but he just summoned one of the Wrath, and I noticed that he has ice too. So I don't know if he's actually going around and recycling his. No, he's not. Never mind. Apologies. Everything is shadow. He's going pure shadow, and then later he goes for ice for construct and so on. So again, I helped him up on this area. I put construction because that helps. That pretty much helps him with the Necroblaster to be built, and then later on I destroy the whole fucking Lost Launcher. Sorry, I'm actually speaking as this is being recorded. God damn it. So I told him if he wanted the monument, so he can have tier 4, and then he helps me get my my tier 4, my tier 3, and then my tier 4. And he said, nah, just get the monument. And the reason why I told him is because, unaware to him, there is a construction feedback on the right side, because I'm going to cheat with the Emmy monument again. So I start summoning some boosters so I can go ahead and have more power added to me. And without him noticing, I'm just going to go ahead and use my Lost Dancers and try to help him up just with the Lost Dancer, because again, they have siege. They can go down and destroy that campment, towers, or anything by themselves. So later on, I just go ahead and summon the enemy. And instead of waiting for me to have tier 3, because I would have used Lost Horror, instead of waiting for me to have tier 3, I'm going to have tier 4 because of my Ami Monument. So I'm going to go 2 Frost, 2 Shadow, summon ships,
the construction construction hut, summon ships, get the ability of the recycle, and then summon Lost Souls and Warlord to clear the next camp, which I will need the monument because I have Emmy Monument. Am I doing Emmy Monument injustice here, or I'm sorry, speedrunners. I hope they're not speedrunners are not watching this. I think they're gonna dislike the video again. By the way, I don't mind if you guys dislike the video. It doesn't really bother me at all. So I use the Lost Soul to neutralize the building, and then I use the ships to be able to heal me in case I need help. I noticed that he also using Lost Spirit Ship because again it only requires one Frost Orb and one Shadow to be for splash damage or splash dex. So he actually uses it, and he actually goes ahead and does this same tower to be able to have the to suck up the recycle of it. I use my armor tower to suck up my one. And the reason why I also love my tower as well is because if I am top of danger, I can come on top of it, and there's a radius where it reduces the damage by a certain percentage, so I can actually activate the tower if something bad happens. Here becomes the wait time and so on. The wait time is basically we both have to go into 120. So that's the amount of unit, not the amount of unit out there, but the amount of unit corresponded to it. So basically, one giant worm will cost about 10 worth of units, basically, in the top right side. So once we have all 120, we're going to be able to finish it up the map together. Now, what I know again is that majority of my Lost Soul has ships has the recycle, so I don't have to worry too much of it. He does explain to me about the Commander Watcher, Commander Watcher going ahead and summoning these Aurora Corruption, which again is right there. It does damage, so do not use any spells, but I don't need any spells because all I need to do is go in and start using the ships while micromanaging the dragons to hit the towers or hit the Wrathgazer to stop them from using Disintegrate. So once we both use our ships and we both use the healing from the ships, because that is the mechanic of the Lost Soul, we don't have to go crazy on blood healing that only has 15 meters of heal. So you have to clunk them up, and that's really hard. We just use pretty much the ships, and we rock the freaking living shit out of the map. After this map, I told him I give him thanks for inviting me to this map, but I'm going to be having other things to do at the moment, so maybe another time we can actually do it. However, again, I am stopping videos for 6 days and stopping. I'm just going to do my daily and focus on other things. So for 6 days, I won't be able to play with anybody. Won't be able to test the game. So good luck to everybody out there. But then again, he did say that the next time we play, he is going to script the area where I won't be able to use the Emmy Monument. But that's if I choose to play it. Anyway, thank you for watching my bid. I sorry for all the... I know now that my video is being spread around and stuff like that. I'm sorry all the speedrunners for tackling the Emmy Monument like that. But it is a breaking mechanic. And I'll see you on the next 6 day worth video.